Hey Gemini, how's everybody doing? Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Okay, I'm immediately getting something about Gemini rising, something that you're upset about. It's like you're feeling really stressed out about something. Like you may even be worrying about it so much that you feel like you're losing sleep a little bit. I'm kind of getting some Pisces energy in there too. Interesting. Okay. So what do we have going on here? I'm looking at the King of Pentacles. I'm looking at the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. And I'm looking at Death. Let's see. It feels like you may be trying to figure out where you're being called as far as your roles and responsibilities that you're taking up right now. Things may be changing on the work front. You could be doing something different, maybe even drawn in that direction. And you're also recognizing that it is what it makes it. It's like, you're going through some changes right now with the Wheel of Fortune, and you know that you're kind of being like pushed in this direction. However, you also know that you kind of get to decide what you're making of this as well. Something may be coming to an end that you were doing before. For some of you, this is related to work. It's like some type of switch up that's happening now. When it comes to your role, maybe even how you're providing for your family. It can just as much have to do with like family responsibilities as it can have to do with work responsibilities. So put the energy where it plays for you. I'm seeing an opportunity that's opening up for you. Maybe you feel like your luck is changing as well. It's like you could have been having an easier time with something and now you feel for whatever reason like things are changing. To see the Magician next to the Death card too, it kind of feels like maybe something that you had been doing or creating, like an opportunity shifts for you even. Or the way you had been doing something is changing now. The ways that you maybe even had been making things happen is changing for you. I'm seeing a message come through. It looks like good news, whatever this is. Something that you had been waiting to receive comes through for you. Something you, waiting patiently for. Or trying to. About someone you want to work with even. You may feel stressed out in a more subtle way. I'm getting like some type of craving here. It's like whatever you feel like maybe is your guilty pleasure or something that you crave to like relieve stress. You may find that you're gravitating towards that more. I'm getting something almost sensational. It's like you could crave like nicotine or sweets or like even be drinking more than usual. I'm getting something like that. It's like you can, or like wanting to watch certain things, like certain TV shows. It's like whatever your tell is, basically, you may be like finding a stronger impulse right now at this time because of the stress you're feeling. Like that may be how you know for yourself that you're feeling more stressed out. Like, yeah. So I'm seeing this King of Pentacles over here. I'm seeing a message that's coming through for you. So it's like, this can be, for some of you, this is an ex. This can be someone that you're married to. This can be somebody that you live with. This can be a boss, somebody that is tied in with your finances. This can be a job. I'm seeing a message come through. I'm seeing stress that we're feeling here about like how things are going to work out, but things are going to work out is what I'm seeing here. So it's like the stress that you're feeling is not going to be lasting much longer because we're at the 10 of Wands with that. So it's like you're getting to the point where all of the sticks are going to be dropped, so to speak, like all of the stress that you're feeling. But it may be it may be particularly strong at this moment of whenever you get, like, I'm seeing this be an actual message that's coming through for you from either this person or this job, or about a position, or about finances. And it's like this, you've been stressing out for sure about this thing. I'm hearing big time. And there's also a bit of like recognition of this being beyond your control too. However, I'm seeing luck is absolutely on your side, and I'm seeing we come through with the Six of Wands here, which is like victory, success with something. And with the Sun on the bottom of the deck too, it's like those difficult times seem like they're going to be over. It kind of feels like you could have been having like a lot of rainy days, and now you feel like things are brightening up for you. In relation to this specifically, with whatever this is going on with the King of Pentacles in your life, yeah, something's coming to an end. I'm seeing this be a good thing. Whatever this Ten of Swords is here, I'm seeing this be related to a stressful situation that's ending for you now. And it was something difficult that you were moving through. And maybe it just felt like it kept dragging on, but it's finally time for this thing to be completed. I'm looking at 2 10s here. It's like this cycle has had a full completion now, so it's over. And I'm seeing this, like, there's definitely a joyous, like, brightening up energy after the completion of this. This is something that could have also been keeping you, like, somewhat in turmoil as well, is what I'm getting. You could have been also realizing that something wasn't working out for you. It's like you were hanging out with someone or you were working with someone. Like for some of you, this has to do with like coworkers or a job that you were working, something like that. And it's like you were not feeling fulfilled within, for some of you, that department that you were in. It was just something that wasn't working for you, and you were like, I need a change. And it's like, I'm seeing with the Death card too, it's like you're recognizing here that something was not working for you. It was not fulfilling. It was like clearly very stressful and something that you wanted to get through, but something that you may have needed to wait to like hear certain news from. It was feeling stressful, like waiting to hear back or get a response from someone. And you also knew that you couldn't like control all of this too. And especially like Gemini, you know, we can, especially like being big communicators, Gemini, it can be difficult to wait on communication and also that sense of worry and being like, yeah, some things are outside of my control right now, and that can really put a damper on trying to keep things on a schedule and keep things organized, and like fast communication and appreciating efficiency. And we recognize that not everybody in the world works like that, and that sometimes we have to wait for certain things. And it feels like this period of stress that you've been going through is now finally coming to an end. It's finally concluding for you, and like something that had been created, something that you were involved in, there's a recognition that it's just not doing it for you anymore. And with the death card here, what I'm seeing is that although this is a desirable change, a wanted change, it's still a change, and so it's still going to be uncomfortable. Like there may be a part of you that you're like, wow, I'm leaving this part of me behind, or I'm leaving some of these people behind, or I'm leaving this position behind. It's like whatever this is that opens you up into a sense of newness, there's also a sense of like growing from the attachment of whatever you have here, whatever's connected to it. This is that feeling of things being bittersweet. This is what I'm seeing here with the Death card and the Three of Swords. But it's for the best, and it's just like all part of it. It's all part of this process that you're going through. This could have been something that you struggled with too, because you knew that you needed a change, but you were having a hard time because of like certain attachments that you had. It's like you may have wanted to do something, but felt like maybe the impact that it would have on the people around you. There's also a sense too of recognizing that like part of you is going to be changing too, and there are things that you need to let go of in order to like fully embrace the change that you're going through right now, Gemini. I'm looking at Jupiter, Mercury, Scorpio. You could have felt too like an environment was too chaotic in general, like too stressful, too much for what it was that you were doing. And that's also part of the reason of wanting to leave it. There was like a lack of balance in whatever that was specifically. So now I'm looking at the Seven of Pentacles. It seems almost like an energy of waiting to step in with someone or something. Like this can be an aspect of you just as much as this can be someone outside of yourself. I'm looking at a fire sign here. Again, this can be that aspect of you. It seems like you know something, but you're again waiting to step in. Maybe you're waiting to even It seems like you're beginning to understand something, conceptualize something, but you don't have all of the information yet, and so you're waiting kind of for something to be confirmed even. This is what I'm seeing here. Intuitively. This is something that would not be being like discussed or talked about, communicated right now. This is something you'd be keeping close to the chest. Waiting on something. It has to do with Either a person you're interacting with. It feels like waiting for the moment to act on something intuitively. As I said before, I'm seeing there be a need to like still gather more information because you're not completely like clear on what you're picking up yet. There may be changes that are happening to your home or finances, something going on with like your stability, even security. I'm seeing you definitely have a very high level of intuition, but you may feel like you've been using it for things at times that are maybe more superficial and you want to aim it towards something different. It's like this almost feels centered around somebody or something. And you may want to be refocusing how you're using your intuition. Because I'm seeing like you bringing justice to a situation, and this may be like between you and yourself here. I'm seeing that by you doing that, you're going to be letting go of some sort of attachment that you have. And this can even be like a way that you've been using your intuition to like keep track of something that maybe you're recognizing is like out of balance or not something that you're necessarily like meant to be involving yourself in. It's like maybe you feel like you've been focused on things outside of yourself and you want to bring the attention back to you. It feels like a sense of like recentering that's happening here and grounding maybe. It, like you could have even like subtly caught yourself like getting involved in something that you're like, this isn't for my highest good, or like I don't need to be involving myself in that, or like why am I using my energy and my time to be focusing on that like rather than myself. And maybe we're even getting into like a deeper issue here that is like focused around other people. It's like bringing that concern back to ourselves rather than like potentially even around someone else. This can even be like a concern with feeling concerned. It's like these things that get you all caught up in like the drama and attachment game. And when I say drama, I just mean like the everyday dance of life. Um, but yeah, it's something that you feel like really sucks your energy in, and it's like you could be using your intuition for something much more advanced than maybe what you recognize you've been using it as. But I am seeing this be like somewhat subtle. It's like something that you may not have like been so consciously aware of that was happening. But I'm seeing a change now. It seems like you're progressing beyond this, past this. You could have also been using like emotional or intuitive abilities even to exercise some sort of like control, even is what I'm getting. Like with the energy, especially like Gemini being such like a sign known for your intelligence too, it's very easy to like be subtle and like manipulate situations. And maybe this is also something that you're like, you know what, I don't really want to be doing this anymore, because I'm seeing it have to do with like control and attachments and wanting to even like be in charge of like outcomes or even people. And this is the energy too of recognizing like sometimes we do feel like we know better or we know best in a situation, and this is sometimes about swallowing that pride and being like, maybe I do know better, but it's not really my place to be stepping in this situation, or this is something that I need to let go of. And this is how we bring justice to that element of ourselves that want to control situations and outcomes and people and what they're doing. And that doesn't mean that you don't know best. It doesn't mean that this is something beyond your control, because I'm seeing it be something that you can do if you choose to, if that's how you choose to channel your energy. But again, there's this sense of higher knowing in you being like, that may be a problem that I'm doing that for me, or like that may not be the healthiest way for me to be doing that. Because there's a sense of like maybe even concern with like your security and people related to that. It's like, well, I can manipulate this situation or this person, and I'm not even meaning like in a harmful way either. It's just like, oh, I can subtly like encourage them to do this or do that, and it's like something that is protecting your sense of security because maybe you feel out of control or maybe you feel unsafe. And this is something that we're going into the psychology space of, I suppose, and it really feels like something that maybe you're even calling yourself out with. You're like, maybe I can go about like feeling more secure in a different way, something that I can do for myself that I can make happen rather than like moving the chess pieces around me, you know? So this is about like taking it all back and centering it back around yourself rather than the people around you. And I feel like ultimately you're going to gain a sense of both independence and also comfort by recognizing how you can control your own movements and not have to be preoccupied with what other people are doing in this regard. Because it feels really like something you're calling out with yourself here because you want to make a change. And you may have been feeling a higher stress level even trying to deal with other energies too. It's like maybe you were keeping a lot of tallies in your head with something, or like really keeping track of something, and you're like, I've been putting so much energy into this and there's an easier way to do it, but it may be uncomfortable or it may be something I'm less familiar with, but I think I'm gonna try this out. So this is what it looks like to me. I'm looking at Libra, I'm looking at the moon, I'm looking at Capricorn. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in, Gemini. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.